What do we have today, Kyle?
Yes, I'm psyched. Today we're talking foam rolling. This is foam rolling 101, how to foam roll if you're a skateboarder.
All right, Kyle, what are we going to be highlighting in this video?
Well, we're going to have Sibo Walker show you how to actually foam roll. We're also going to be discussing things like when and for how long to foam roll, and when maybe you shouldn't foam roll, and which body regions are most important to target if you're a skater.
And so which are they?
For skating, the most important areas to hit are the back, the hips, the hamstrings or the back of the thighs, the IT band, the quads or the front of the thighs, the inner thigh, and then the calves.
So going through these one by one, where do we want to start?
We're going to start with the back. So with the back, basically you start by supporting your neck with your hands. Then you have your elbows pointed up towards the sky. And then you're going to bridge up over the foam roller and just start rolling.
All right, well, let's back up. And sorry if this sounds like a dumb question, but how do you actually foam roll?
Not a dumb question at all. There's really no right or wrong way to foam roll, but this is what I teach. So with each muscle group that you're working on, you kind of roll up and down the entire muscle and find like a sensitive or hot spot that you feel like really needs to be worked on.
Okay.
And then you concentrate on that little section and do small 6-inch rolls back and forth. And that's essentially what you do in each area. You can kind of see here, Sibo's rolling up and down the whole back, kind of searching for that tight spot. And then you'll see now he found that tight spot. He's doing those small 6-inch rolls to just really, really focus on that area. All right, so next we're gonna go into how to foam roll the hips. So with this one, you're basically going to target the back and outer part of the hip or the buttock region. And you're going to sit cross-legged on the foam roller, kind of search for that tight spot, and then start rolling.
One question I get asked a lot that I never really know how to answer is, what does foam rolling actually do?
Well, basically foam rolling helps temporarily improve your flexibility.
Okay.
And it improves the flexibility slightly better than like a static stretch. So it helps with flexibility, it decreases pain temporarily, and can also help decrease post-exercise / post-skate session soreness. This is kind of a perfect example of just there's really no rules. Sibo's just kind of getting into a funky position and just doing what he needs to do to find that like right spot. So it's kind of cool. You can just kind of figure it out on your own as long as you keep the basic principles in mind.
And he looks pretty cool, you know? Looks pretty casual.
He does.
He's got a good look going.
All right, so the next area we're going to foam roll are the hamstrings. The hamstring region goes from the bottom part of the buttocks to the back part of the knee. And what you're going to do is you're essentially going to place the foam roller on this area. And to start with, just go back and forth with both legs. This is a moderate level of pressure. It's not too intense. And then if you want to increase the intensity of the pressure, cross one leg on top of the other, and this will make it more intense.
Now, how much time do you recommend spending on each area?
The research is kind of all over the place on this. Basically 10 to 90 seconds is the range, depending on the situation.
Okay.
I recommend 30 seconds for this video, and 30 seconds is what I recommend to my patients in the clinic. But a lot of the research studies have their subjects roll for 90 seconds. And some research suggests that you can get flexibility gains after foam rolling for as little as 10 seconds. So in general, what I kind of tell people is if you're going to foam roll your whole body, you don't need to do 90 seconds in each area. You can do short 10-second rolls in each body part and still get some flexibility gains and not waste too much time. But if you're going to focus on just one or two areas when you foam roll, you can go towards the 60 to 90 second range.
And how much pressure are we talking?
As much as you can handle. I mean, don't go into pain, use common sense, but apply as much pressure as you can tolerate. I would say if you never foam rolled before, you might need to kind of ease into the heavy pressure. But once your body gets used to it, put as much pressure on there as you can handle, or as much pressure as it takes to feel good. All right, and next we have the dreaded IT band. This is usually the most sensitive area for people, so proceed with caution. And the IT band is different than a muscle. At the top part of the hip, it starts as a tiny muscle called the TFL. And then from the top part of the hip down to the knee, the IT band is basically a tough tissue that kind of supports the outside of the leg, and it's really sensitive. So this is a good example of different ways you can use your body weight to make the pressure more or less. So this is an easy way to have there be less pressure on the IT band. You just use the top foot to take weight off of the foam roller.
And I feel like this is the one that people get the most awkwardly tangled when foam rolling and feel like there's a certain form that they need to adhere to.
Yeah, it is kind of an awkward one, but really you just kind of figure it out.
How important is it to get that upper body low?
Not that important.
Oh, really? Okay. I always imagined you wanted to basically get your body like totally parallel with the ground.
Yeah, for a lot of exercises that's true, but for this one it doesn't matter as much. And then now Sibo's putting his legs together to increase the pressure. And this one hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah, this one took me a while before I could do it full weight. What's amazing though is that your body eventually adjusts.
It does.
Like if you've never foam rolled in 30 years of your life and then you hop on the IT band, it feels like someone's trying to take your leg off, but then you do it for a month and you can go full weight with a hard ass foam roller and it's fine.
Yep, the body adapts. Pretty crazy. All right, so the next body region of foam roll are the quadriceps. And for this muscle group, you're gonna roll over onto your stomach and kind of go into a plank position with your elbows on the floor. And the area that's fair game for this region is the top part of the hip all the way down to the knee.
When it comes to softness, is it possible for a foam roller to be too soft to actually do anything, or is it still going to be doing something even if it's really soft?
It will still do something, but you might need a foam roll a little bit longer to get the short-term flexibility benefits than if you had a more firm foam roller. It's kind of hard to say.
And could you use anything as basic as like a PVC pipe with the right diameter? Like, could you just use a PVC pipe and get it done?
You could. That's a pretty harsh way of foam rolling because those things are hard. But if you can tolerate that pressure, you can use something as barbaric as a PVC pipe. Yep. This is kind of one that's a little tricky. So with this one, just make sure your leg is perpendicular to the foam roller.
Okay. Yeah, it's a funny one. It seems like it's really hard to actually get your weight over on this one.
Yeah, it's a funky one. It also looks really kind of weird too.
And what is it getting?
That's getting the inner thigh or the adductor muscle group. So the last muscle group we're going to target are the calf muscles, which extend from the back part of the knee down to your Achilles tendon, which is the big tendon that connects to your heel. So for this one, your hands are going to be behind you. You're going to get your calves on top of the foam roller and roll back and forth.
When is it ideal for you to foam roll? Before a session, after a session, like directly after a session?
You can do it both ways. So the short answer is both. You can foam roll before a session to help improve flexibility, and it can kind of act as a warm-up. But you can also foam roll after a session to help reduce post-session soreness. All right, so those are the main body regions to target if you're going to foam roll.
Is there anything else one should worry about for technique?
Those are the basic principles, but there's really no right or wrong way as far as technique to foam roll. The research hasn't shown one way or one style to be more superior than another. So as long as you keep the basic principles in mind, don't be afraid to kind of explore and like freestyle a little bit and figure out which angle or which way works best for you.
Are there any times when you just shouldn't foam roll at all?
Yeah, I mean there are. I mean, you just kind of use your common sense. Like if you have like a brand new acute injury, you're probably going to want to leave foam rolling alone until that heals a little bit. And also there are certain times when you're just so like after a really gnarly like stair session and your legs are just so sore that you can't really tolerate foam rolling. You might need to ease up or hold back for a couple days before you start on that. All right, so just to recap, foam rolling is an adequate option to help improve your flexibility and decrease soreness and pain. You can foam roll before and after a skate session. When you foam roll, make sure you apply firm pressure as much as you can tolerate. Perform small 6-inch rolls in the most sensitive part of each body region. And make sure you foam roll about 30 seconds in each area.
All right, Kyle, let's keep this conversation going. You know me as a big time foam roller. I'm not sure where I got the inspiration from. I kind of think it was Rob Welsh from some video back in the day. Do you remember what it
was? Was it fully flared or was it the Transworld video? I'm going to say fully flared.
I think it was like a tour video around the time of Fully Flared.
That makes sense.
But they were talking about his gross ass foam roller that he had rolling around. And I didn't even know what it was or what the benefit was for. But I got into it a couple years later. And I've been an avid roller since. Do you foam roll?
I actually don't. That shit
Really?
hurts, man. I don't know how people do it so much. I don't because it hurts and it takes forever to do. And I feel like I can get more bang for my buck, increasing flexibility and, improving soreness and pain with other stuff. So I actually don't. I do it sometimes, but not a lot.
I got super into it as just something to do while I was watching some nice long form TV shows. I feel like I probably foam rolled my way through an entire viewing of The Wire, season 1 through 5.
Wow, that's a lot of foam rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a problem. But anyway, I started bringing my foam roller everywhere. Like I would bring it on every trip. That was a big reason I wanted to make them with the little caps so I could make better use of storage.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like a big question is how effective it really is. I mean, I do it because it feels good. It feels kind of like a massage. But what's really going on? And what does the research say?
I mean, it is effective. It does have its uses, but the effectiveness is moderate at best, and it's pretty temporary. So we know from the research that if you foam roll, you're going to be more flexible. But the flexibility does not last that long. Like we're talking minutes, 10 minutes, according to some research.
Damn.
And we also know that if you foam roll, you're going to be less sore, but it takes a lot of work to decrease the soreness, and the relief in soreness doesn't last that long. So one study showed that you have to foam roll for 20 minutes to get 10 to 30 minutes of soreness relief. It just seems like,
whoa.
Yeah. So I mean, the shit works, but it works a little bit and it doesn't last that long. So that's why it definitely has its uses, but you don't have to foam roll your way through The Wire necessarily.
All right, but if I'm on a trip, let's say, and my legs are wrecked and I probably can't skate, but I desperately want to skate a spot for even for that half an hour. If I get a little 20-minute rolling before, like I might kind of be able to pull it off. Like,
yeah, yep, yeah, that might be a situation where you get like a little window after you foam roll to tolerate some skating.
And so what about directly after? I mean, if I'm super sore, foam rolling hurts so much anyway because my legs will just be in pain. But if before that soreness really kicks in and I've just, let's say, jumped down a 12 stair for 2 hours, I find like that feels pretty good on my muscles. Like they're so tight and I can feel that it's going to be a bad one. I just go straight to rolling. Do you think there's a benefit there?
Yeah, that might help. It's certainly worth a try. But usually you feel the soreness, you foam roll, and then the soreness is diminished.
Okay.
And another thought on that window, like, yes, if you foam roll when your legs are really sore, you're going to feel less sore. But if your legs are really sore, they also need to recover. So would it be wise to foam roll and then temporarily feel less soreness and then go skate a big set of stairs when your legs might need a little bit more recovery time? Like, that's just another thought.
Yeah. Like that's your body telling you to chill anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Yeah.
So let it recover.
What are just in general, like what are some ways to avoid that soreness that's healthy, not just numbing the pain or something? Like, it's healthy to feel sore, but are there some treatments? Like I love the ice bath. I feel like I'll see a difference. Sometimes I'll take some like branched chain amino acids like directly after skating, and I feel like that helps just to give my body that sort of protein dose that I wouldn't be getting from my meals.
There's a ton of shit out there, dude. I mean, there's a whole industry out there that tries to give you different little tricks to decrease soreness. But I mean, my philosophy is like, if you jump down a bunch of shit or if you exercise really aggressively, you're going to be sore. That's normal. Just to a certain extent, just, get your rest, be good with your hydration, be good with your nutrition, and let the body heal. You don't necessarily need to spend all your money on recovery when, really you just got to let it run its course and come back to life.
When you say nutrition though, like what is a nutrition error that could increase soreness?
I mean, getting a 12-pack after skating and
yeah, but like what about like a 6-pack? Or what about just like 3 IPAs,
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do that sometimes, but it's not necessarily great for your recovery.
Okay. But that's kind of related to hydration, right? Like,
yeah, hydration, nutrition. There's nutrients in beer, not really good ones, but.
But when you say diet, as in like what you're eating, what should we be thinking about?
I mean, that's not my area of expertise, but I know nutrition does have a role in recovery.
We'll get a nutritionist on.
There we go. Yeah, that's the next.
I'm
episode.
Fascinated by that. Like, I always want to know like what really is going on with the body as far as processing food and how that works in. I know that like my basic understanding is that you get the right protein, it's going to help your muscles get back to normal.
Yep. Yeah. There's some truth to that.
Do you think foam rolling can improve your skateboarding ability?
Probably not. I mean, the short answer is no.
Yeah.
The good news is that foam rolling is not going to harm your skateboarding performance. Some things like static stretching can actually make your muscles a little less powerful and a little more weak, and it actually affects your performance negatively.
Whoa.
But yeah, and foam rolling doesn't do that. There are no negative consequences on performance from foam rolling, but it also doesn't help your performance. So you're not going to jump higher. You're not going to skate better if you foam roll. It kind of has a neutral effect on skating.
Interesting.
Yeah. Does this make you want to foam roll through the next episode of The Wire?
Oh, I'm still going to do it. I love that.
Okay.
Shit.
All right.
I look at it kind of like a replacement for a massage, I can't quite afford going and getting my quads worked on by a masseuse, and my wife, she doesn't quite have the muscle that I sometimes require to get in on my legs. So I look at foam rolling as kind of that replacement.
Yeah, that's
poor
fair.
man's massage.
Yeah, that's fair.
So how often do you recommend foam rolling to patients?
Not nearly as much as I used to. I mean, I do recommend it to patients. I usually recommend it to patients to help manage their pain.
Okay.
It's never the primary part of my rehab plan for a given injury, but it can be helpful to basically help get patients out of pain so that they can move on and tolerate what's usually really important in their rehab plan, which is typically getting some sort of muscle group stronger and making the body more resilient so that they can get back to skating.
So you mentioned that you can foam roll before skating as a way to warm up. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an option. I don't necessarily recommend it, but it
Okay.
is an option. Like you can do it, but I mean, dude, foam rolling takes a long time. Like if you really sit there and do 30, even just 30 seconds at each body part, it takes a while.
Right.
And what I found is that there are other more efficient options to warm up the body that also have other benefits, like activating muscles and getting some cardio work going. So like things like body squats or dynamic stretching or jump roping. Those things tend to be a little more efficient, and you can get on your board a little bit sooner as opposed to spending 30 minutes foam rolling before a session. So I tend to recommend those things before foam rolling, but it's certainly an option to do before a session.
What about overdoing it? Are there times when you can kind of do too much?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. Like if you have an acute injury, you want to hold off on foam rolling too much. If you're really, really, really sore, you want to hold off on doing too much too soon. And then also, if you're spending so much time foam rolling that it takes away from other aspects of fitness that are more important, like let's say strength training.
Yeah.
And that's a situation where I tell people, dude, just chill out on foam rolling. Don't do it or do it less until you can do these other more important things consistently. So that'd be the other situation.
Okay. Do you know of any physical therapists who just straight up don't recommend it at all and think it's bad?
Yeah, some, but most people recommend it a little bit, but not all the time. I mean, my official
Yeah, let's hear your final verdict.
Yeah, my official verdict is that if you're already doing it, it feels good to you, keep doing it. There's no harm. A lot of people I know swear by it, like yourself. It's okay to keep doing it.
Okay.
But if you never foam rolled before, there's really no pressure to necessarily start foam rolling. Don't feel like you have to do it. There are other ways to warm up the body before you skate rather than spending a bunch of time foam rolling. And I don't usually do it myself, but I do recommend it to patients usually for pain management, just to get some short-term pain relief.
And what have you found are the most common pain relief situations that you recommend it?
I mean, various types of knee pain. I use it a lot for patients with neck and low back pain. Basically, any areas where there's pain and stiffness, you might be able to get some pain relief from foam rolling. And also, if you're an avid foam roller, make sure it doesn't get in the way of other parts of fitness like strength training and cardiovascular training.
Well, thanks for your wisdom.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get back to my foam.
All right, happy foam rolling, Walker. Keep it up.
All right, we'll see you later.
Yeah.